Our third story, out front. Democrats hammering Mitt Romney for holding offshore bank accounts.
President of the United States with a Swiss bank account.
This is a guy whose slogan is Believe in America, and it should be business in Bermuda.
Americans need to ask themselves, why does an American businessman need a Swiss bank account and secretive investments like that?
So why does an American businessman, or anyone for that matter, need a Swiss bank account? So we asked Daniel Shaviro, a professor of tax at New York University. He said the reasons can range from tax fraud to simply having easy access to money abroad. But he says that in Mitt Romney's case, the benefits are more likely. And we should emphasize, nobody's alleging anything illegal at all here. But secrecy and confidentiality are the main reason, avoiding some tax deduction limits. And Professor Shaviro said also avoiding tax on investment income. In this case, this could be money that his IRA has invested in bonds. He has a $100 million IRA, so this could mean significant savings. William Cohen worked on Wall Street as a senior M&A banker for 15 years. Doug Holtz-Eakin is the former director of the CBO, and John Avlon joins me as well. So, Doug Holtz-Eakin, it's safe to say this is why Mitt Romney has offshore bank accounts, right? To save money.
I presume it's to make money. I'd be actually quite surprised if there were any...
That's an interesting way to put my words back at me. I take that as well done.
This is real simple, I think. I know for the average person whose only account is at a bank down the street, this seems quite mysterious, and it's obviously very easy to demagogue. We've seen that as the White House and others have tried to change the channel, but all that could be going on here is that Mr. Romney's investment advisor, who makes his investments for him, he doesn't get to do it, has chosen to invest in some overseas entities. It could be as simple as buying a share of British stock, and when the dividends got paid, he paid taxes on it like everyone else. Or he could invest in, as you say, something in the Bahamas or the Caymans, an entity organized there. Those entities are usually organized there because they want to attract investors from many countries.
Right.
Europeans, Americans.
But they give you benefits, for example, we're talking about that debt tax benefit. I mean, if that were the case, and we do not know that it is, but if it were to be, a $100 million IRA could be saving a huge amount of tax dollars.
Right. An IRA invested in the United States isn't taxable until it's taken out for anyone, Mitt Romney or otherwise. So it has nothing to do with whether it's overseas or not. That's simply an IRA. Those are entities that are typically in the Caymans or Bahamas because the Europeans don't want to put it into the United States. I mean, look, we are an economy where the president threatens to raise taxes every 2 days. So they want it on a neutral third-party site. If you want to make some money and do something, you've got to invest there.
All right, William Cohen, what do you make of Doug's arguing here for Mitt? He made a good case.
Well, he's articulate, I'll give him that, but you have to point out here, first of all, that this was not just Mitt Romney's investment advisor making this decision, recently or even in the last 4 years. These were funds that Mitt Romney was invested in when he was at Bain for 15 years, and that were domiciled, like many hedge funds, like many private equity funds, in the Cayman Islands and other offshore areas, in order to, frankly, avoid paying taxes if they can. Now, the point of the matter is that if you're an honest person, which let's presume Mitt Romney is, that the federal government will, find him and make him pay his taxes no matter where he makes that money on a worldwide basis. But if he were disinclined to report that himself, because none of these entities have file IRS forms, if he were disinclined to do this himself, then he could easily evade taxes. And so that's what goes on here repeatedly. And no one's saying that Mitt Romney's doing that, but I think the point of the matter is he could do it if he wanted.
William, would you acknowledge, though, that with the tax code being some 60,000+ pages or something like that, right, that it is that long because people have put loopholes in there. And if you have the time or wherewithal, that's what it's there for. You should be using those loopholes. That if he's doing that, what's he doing wrong?
Well, Aaron, he's more than likely playing by the rules. I mean, this is not exactly a transparent situation here. Let's give him the credit. Yes, he is playing by the rules. But I think to Douglas's question, or your question, about the IRA that he has $102 million in that IRA. Right. I don't know how in the world he did that, putting in $15,000 to $17,000 a year. I mean, I would like to know what kind of investments he had making that kind of return. That is a big question mark that I
think everyone in America would want to know. John Avlon, but the bottom line here is, why is he doing it? He's been running for president for 8 years.
He's running for office, for Pete's sake.
He knows this doesn't play well, so why not just close them down?
Well, he did close down some accounts, but obviously because he gets a tax advantage. He gets some sort of advantage by, let's just be real about it.
Sometimes when the answer is obvious, the answer is obvious.
That's exactly right. So let's assume the answer is obvious. But why this resonates politically, it's a matter of relatability. The reason the Democrats keep returning to this is because they're trying to, and Mitt Romney's in danger of losing one of the basic rules of politics. Define yourself before your opponent does. And this was something we heard back during the Republican primaries. Newt Gingrich said, I don't know of a single American president who's ever had a Swiss bank account. So that's where this narrative starts. Fairly or not, it's about relatability. Can he relate to you if he is a member of the super rich with Swiss bank accounts, Cayman Island accounts, Bermuda, etc.? And that's not to say he's done anything wrong or illegal at all.
Doug, let me just, a final question to you. At this point, why wouldn't he have closed some of this stuff down? Or even perhaps taken a different stance on the carried interest tax? He could have done things to mitigate this. Do you think he made a political mistake? You've advised campaigns.
Well, I certainly, as I said at the outset, think this is very easy to demagogue, very easy to mislead. I mean, I saw Robert Gibbs on your colleague's show, Candy Crowley, on Sunday, and it was borderline character assassination. It's very easy to do. So there's a real political risk there.
But do you think
I
he made a mistake?
I would want to emphasize that if you can put things in a blind trust, you no longer control those investments. And his investment advisor may very well have made investments in these overseas entities without him knowing, and he's now paying a political price. I bet that hurts.
Okay, but I think we all know, if any of the three of us were running for president, I'd be like, what the is in that blind trust? That's all I'm saying. All right? I'll leave it there. Thanks to all three of you. Appreciate it. All right, our fourth story out front.